Global geopolitical trends can be grasped by gazing at them from many geographical hotspots. Most of these places are also relevant in themselves to the unfolding dynamics of international relations. On the other hand, Paraguay is a location frequently overlooked in terms of its geopolitical significance. And yet, in South America, some historical major events have had Paraguay, or its forerunner, performing as a pivotal territory. During the earlier colonial occupation of South America, the Spanish invaders established their geographical headquarters from which to coordinate routes for expeditions of cities' foundations, in today Argentina and Bolivia, at Asunción. Standing out are Santa Cruz de la Sierra, 1561, Córdoba, 1573, Santa Fe, 1573, and Corrientes, 1588. From Asunción took off what would be the second and definitive foundation of Buenos Aires, in 1580. Then, between 1864 and 1870, the more consequential military conflict in South America's 19th century took place, having Paraguay located at its epicenter. The Paraguayan War, also known as the War of the Triple Alliance, consolidated the British financial dominion over the region and defined the present-day boundaries of Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. Current geopolitical events seemingly unfold around and above Paraguay, with no apparent direct connection to this country, except at a low-intensity rate, in a somewhat loose fashion. Paraguay is tightly aligned with the US dollar-centered financial architecture and, for now, it has not signaled any intention to lessen its reliance on the monetary institutions and trade protocols approved by Washington. A financially well-endowed middle class is thriving in Paraguay, from powerful agricultural, real estate, and cross-trade-driven operations. Commodities-driven export targets are the core engine of integration of the Paraguayan economy into the global value chains. But only banks and big investors profit from the mechanized appropriation of land, while micro and small farming development lags, and no additional employment stems from the national industrial agricultural model. Decades old, consolidated cross-trade channels remain operational as a relevant commercial strategy of Paraguay, in which a company acquires products abroad and then sells them to another company in a third country, mostly Brazil, without the merchandise passing through the customs territory of the first importer. Meanwhile, rural emigration boomed under the pressure of mounting agricultural mechanized monoculture and deforestation, leading to massive and misguided urban assimilation of an increasingly unemployed workforce, heavily concentrated in the eastern region of Paraguay, especially in the Asunción metropolitan area. The government has made lessening taxes and providing a safe business environment with low wages, the core of its foreign investment attraction strategy. So, what about the geopolitical weight of Paraguay? Foreign hegemonic interests are deeply rooted in Paraguay, despite the overwhelmingly strong collective cultural identity among the people of the country. No national security or military threat has openly challenged Paraguay in the last 89 years. However, Paraguay's political and economic stability dwells on a sizable loss of national sovereignty, at the behest of the United States and, on a secondary and minor measure, Brazil. Paraguayan domestic affairs in the public sphere are directly interfered with and monitored by the United States. Prominent citizens are also targeted to be persecuted and damaged in their material interests when they do not abide by the prescriptions of the United States diktat. This kind of normalized intrusion is allowed by granting varying degrees of local jurisdiction to intelligence and security assets of the United States, be it in Paraguay and many other countries. Meanwhile, increasing contingents of Brazilian migrants and, more recently, European and other Western so-called expats, meaning migrants with funds, choose Paraguay as their place of living, both in rural and urban areas. This migration gave rise to both a weakening of rural territorial sovereignty and a phenomenon of gentrification in some restricted residential areas. Drug Colombian cartels and Brazilian criminal syndicates have long penetrated the Paraguayan political circles, bringing about massive money laundering schemes. The subsequent increase in criminal violence and the worsening of the rift between civil society and the ruling establishment have made strides. All the previous notes thus far allow for a preliminary statement on the subject matter. The geopolitical profile of Paraguay is one of conservative ideological spin, rooted in an inner culturally tolerant national mindset, and tempered by an embedded social cohesion that upheld the gravest historical hardships. These features allow Paraguay great resilience in its social fabric, as well as an uncommon capability to abide by traditional moral values without renouncing cultural cohesion and social solidarity.